Welcome in Line by Line. Today, I welcome a new guest, Bravo, from Sorting Myself Out community. So, he chose a song Chained to the Rhythm by Katy Perry. Bravo, why did you pick that song?
It's a fun song. It's catchy. There's surprising amounts of meaning in the lyrics and in the music video.
Yeah.
It's pretty good social commentary, or however you want to put it. Psychological, perhaps.
I really like the video. People check it out. We will mention the video in the analysis as well. Just like I'll provide the link below. Yeah, thank you. I guess we can get to it.
Yeah. Are we crazy? Living our lives through a lens, trapped in our white picket fence like ornaments? So comfortable, we're living in a bubble. So comfortable, we cannot see the trouble. That's the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it there's, I guess, several things. Living our lives through a lens could mean so many things. And I think you will see quite easily from the video that there's certainly a reference to social media that we can point out when we look at the video too. But of course, I suppose we all live our lives through a lens in some sense, some kind of ideology or religion, or just our individual, whatever it is,
Yeah.
we are individuals. And trapped in our white picket fence. It, you also see this in the video that it's a reference to the 50s, to the suburban housewife. But of course, we're also trapped in the grind, so to speak, which I suppose it also represents. But I think that like ornament sentence might be more of a reference to the housewife phenomena or the trophy wife phenomena. So she's singing this song from the point of view of a woman as well. So it's not just all of our troubles, but maybe some of the ones that are specific to the women.
I actually like that comparison to live in a bubble. So
Yeah.
it's almost like this greenhouse. We are locked, and
Mm.
we only get inside the information we are allowed to get inside, and
Mm-hmm.
basically close our eyes, ears, and no
Yeah.
trouble. Yeah,
We are protecting ourselves, I suppose.
it's interesting how she says so comfortable, so
It's
comfortable.
so comfortable.
Wasn't there a
Very, very comfortable.
yeah? Wasn't there a fairy tale about I think mice falling into milk or something, and one of them just
Um,
got relaxed and drowned, and the other one was like, no, no, it's bad, was trying to get out and made the butter or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Did you have that in when you were?
No, we did. That doesn't ring a bell with me
Oh,
from over here in Scandinavia.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so we are in fact so comfortable we can't see the trouble, whatever that means. But I think that's something the music video shows as well.
mm,
Seems like it's a take on war and climate change, at least.
could be.
Um, and then you have the sentence, "Aren't you lonely up there in Utopia?" And it would seem that that might be a reference to the powerful, to the rich, the politicians, etc. Kind of they are up there. They're trying to create a utopia, and yeah, where nothing will ever be enough. Sort of, it's the grind on steroids. Like people are always striving for more, but then when you have everything, what are you striving for then? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she's still talking about being trapped in a bubble, and it's like utopia bubble, very
Yeah,
comfortable.
right. I
And
think you're right about that.
it's like nothing will ever be enough. It's like nothing will ever be enough. That's a really weird sentence to me. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
you want everything, but you have this nothing in there as well. and
yeah, and okay, well, actually, that's the next stanza. I guess I should read it first. I skipped into it. So the next one is, aren't you lonely up there in Utopia, where nothing will ever be enough? Happily numb, so comfortable, we're living in a bubble, so comfortable we cannot see the trouble. So she repeats that from the previous. But yeah, happily numb, comfortably numb.
It's like in a bubble, you cannot see other people. You cannot kind of see different points of lifestyle. Maybe you only like keep to your comfortable one. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weirdly specific in a way because like I can't really relate because I never met
yeah,
people who only stay within one bubble. So I think it's just that social commentary on people living in the social media through the lens when everything is
yeah,
so perfect. It's like
yeah,
Instagram, here are the mountains, here's this, and like and they immediately skip if there is content that isn't welcome, let's say.
yeah,
And it's a strange combination that she asked if she's lonely in Utopia. Because,
yeah, yeah. But that could be asking someone else as well.
mhm.
Yeah, you know, um, the people living in Utopia or trying to create Utopia, kind of the people at the top of the pyramid,
Mm.
um, trying to save the planet from climate change, or something like this. Um,
Hmm. I actually think it reminded me of a story. Like I remember I came to Poland and I met this through acquaintance. We were hanging out with some absolutely rich kid, like super rich, like
mm,
a kid of like very very wealthy parents. And he was talking about cars, houses, ownerships, and stuff like that. And I
mm,
somehow immediately assumed he has absolutely perfect life. I was like, oh my
right.
God, he must be living in this world of cars and this perfect life. And I was kind of deep on the inside, like, I wish he could understand what it's like not to do that or not to have it. And I
Yeah,
was wrong though. It's like
yeah,
he even that rich kid like had his own troubles, his own problems. Loneliness was
yeah,
actually spot on. Like it is, but um, loneliness would actually imply there is no utopia somehow. Like as far as I'm concerned, like it's all fake, perhaps.
yeah, yeah. I agree, but also I think you're so spot on about that, the rich kid problem or whatever. I don't know. I think you have a thing for not making things too political, but anyway, you know, there's been all these stories about Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't necessarily have to get into them, but he's clearly, well, he's written an autobiography, which I think chronicles a lot of his struggles with drugs and different things. and and um, and he's, you know, tall, handsome, probably pretty smart, um, and obviously he's been struggling terribly, regardless of what you think about him or his family. And I think there's a lot of stories like that. You kind of get some rich kids, they get put into a boarding school pretty early on. Maybe don't really get to see their parents that much, but they have nannies and they have butlers or whatever, and uh, they don't really
Boarding
get them.
schools are rough. So like people that I know from boarding schools, they're broken psychologically. That's
Yeah, there's this journalist in the US called Chris Hedges, who used to be a foreign correspondent for the New York Times. He got fired over his opinions on the Iraq War, and he kind of had a foot in both camps. He had trailer park part of his family, and then he had like elite boarding schools in
mhm.
northeast United States, and he would talk about these rich or powerful guys, men that came to the school not to actually meet their son, but just to take a picture with him, with some kind of photograph, or a photographer, journalist for an
Mm-hmm.
article. So they would just show up, and they'd have their lover with them in the limo, and they would just come take a happy picture with their son and leave. You know, so it's just very very focused on appearances, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That is very much what I heard about boarding schools. Like, and it's not only in US. It's like in
No.
England, in Austria as well. Like, I especially know like really bad stories from boarding schools in London. It's
Yeah.
it's rough, man. Like I do not envy actually the pressure and also the bubble itself. Like here, like it's bitterness a little bit in the song, but like as if she doesn't get it. I did not get it. Like when I just came into this world, I was like, oh, you must be so thinking you are so much better than all of us. Until I actually was able to talk to him and spend time with him, and like we actually connected and he opened up to me, and like I said, like it's actually not that easy as you think. It's not that perfect. Like
Yeah.
appearances matter more than
Mm.
actual conversations and connections. And by the way, Bravo, I that's the thing I'm trying to change, like a little bit. Like I mean, I don't believe I will, but it's like a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
Not to focus on appearances, not to focus
Yeah.
on status, not to
Yeah.
focus on anything other than actual conversation. And
Yeah.
it's okay. Like I do not have opinion about Joe Biden's son, because like I don't know him personally. Like all I
Yeah.
read is like this stuff in the news or Twitter files, and
Yes.
all of that seems surfacey to me. So like it will not show me who the person actually is. And
Yeah. Yeah. And there's an interesting aspect to this where I think the internet is perfect for armchair psychology, and I think especially in a time where geopolitical and sort of conspiracy minded interest is, or conspiracy interest is increasing, people are asking themselves, and I'm sure they've always asked themselves, who are the people in power? What kind of people are they? And we speculate, and maybe maybe some of the assumptions are true, or what, but at the end of the day, I suppose you would have to walk in their shoes to truly understand it. I just find it hard to comprehend that someone would want to work maybe 12-hour days, 18, 16 for their whole lives, constantly at war with other companies and all those things. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next stanza is so put your rose-colored glasses on and party on. Turn it up, it's your favorite song. Dance, dance, dance to the distortion. Turn it up, keep it on repeat, stumbling around like a wasted zombie. And obviously, rose-colored glasses, or I think it's rose-tinted glasses is normally the expression, which is kind of when you see everything positively, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe not realistically. Um, and Rose is also the name of the character that Kate Perry is playing in this song, and you
Mm-hmm.
you see that in the music video. So that's her actual name as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then um, dance, dance, dance to the distortion. Distortion obviously is a sound term or musical term,
Mm-hmm.
which is, for instance, what you call the effects on guitars in punk, rock, metal, especially metal music.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also something called media distortion, which I suppose is I think it's the confusion. Uh, when media isn't doing a job of enlightening people, it's doing a job of the opposite, just creating noise. So
Mm-hmm.
that might be sort of an interpretation to that. And then, of course, it's on repeat. People are stumbling around. So there's a little bit of a drug reference here too,
Mm-hmm.
party on, stumbling around. Um, yeah.
I mean, it's already start the distortion with your view. Your view is distorted by pink, so you don't see the
Mm-hmm.
reality as it is already. You
Right.
don't hear reality as it is because the
Yeah.
sound also is distorted, and you don't feel it because you probably are numbed by whatever makes you like a zombie.
Right.
And so you basically being spoon fed a
Yeah.
different reality. That's her
Yeah.
commentary on here, which is like pretty
And
nicely
in a
done.
sense, not just obviously, I agree. We are being spoon fed certain realities from different actors, but then in a way, we have to also think that we have a free will, so we are actually choosing which reality we want. And in this case, she is, well, she's saying to put your rose colored glasses on. So that's a choice, that's an action. You put those rose colored glasses on. So you have your own personal distortion, I guess, your own bubble or filter.
I think it sounds like a little bit passive aggressive kind of reverse psychology. So if you like your
Right.
loneliness,
Yeah.
if you like your
Yeah.
bubble, yeah, continue in
Yes.
that
Yeah.
thing fake world that you have. It's like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
like the
Just go
artist. It's like
on. Just go on. Just keep doing it. See how just keep doing it. See how it works. There is kind of that aspect. Yeah.
I do believe I know who she's addressing. I think she's addressing herself.
Yeah.
That that
Agreed.
that's my opinion.
Yeah. I think you're right. So the next one is, yeah, we think we're free. Drink this one. This one's on me. We're all chained to the rhythm. And I don't know. Is she talking to herself again? Maybe, drink. It's on me. But yeah, you're paying for your own drink. So um, and we'll see in the music video what's going on when she's singing this part. I don't really have anything
No, so what's
else
going
to
on
add
in the
to.
music video though?
Yeah, okay, so what's going on in the music video here is that she's first of all, this part is a little bit unclear because it does seem like she might be married at some point in the video. Um but in this part she certainly isn't. She's sort of in a Marilyn Monroe type outfit. She's at a gas station called Inferno H2O, which is fire water, which is hard liquor. And she's drinking this drink that's burning and obviously very devastating. And she's dancing around with sailors around her, giving her, well, not love but sexual attention, and it makes her quite happy in the moment, at least, almost almost in a childish way.
Euphoria.
Yeah, just maybe just attention and the kind of confirmation, not deep love, but just that momentary confirmation that I look good and I'm desirable, sexual.
Okay, it's that hedonistic idea, live in the moment.
Yeah, it's more like that. And then I do think that we will come back to this, but there is kind of like a climate change agenda from Katy Perry in this video, where, you know, it's a gas station, obviously, oil, gas, but the interesting thing is that it's called Inferno H2O, which is water. So it's almost like water on fire, you know, like the planet is burning, even the water. And of course, it's the reference to fire water as well. So, I don't know. There's so much possible symbolism here that I yeah. But this is around 2:20 in the music video, if you want to have a little look.
And then she continues, right? Like she wants to be in that fake kind of fake induced pleasure. Not real love, but like momentary gratification. And turn it up, it's your favorite song.
Yeah, so she goes back to this part again, and kind of enjoying the moment, but like you said, more a hedonistic, more like a dopamine treadmill kind of way, not a deep appreciation for the small things, but more like the sort of dopamine triggering stuff. Kind of like a child when you give them sugar. Yeah. Are we tone deaf? Keep sweeping it under the mat. Thought we could do better than that. I hope we can. And then, so put your rose-colored glasses on and party on. So, tone deaf obviously has the musical reference, but it also means that you are out of touch. I think it's usually applied to politicians when they lack empathy with some kind of problem. It's like a tone deaf statement means you haven't really understood the reality of things and maybe the struggle of the people involved, and you make a tone deaf comment, insensitive perhaps, I think. And I think she's probably asking this rhetorically, like, we are tone deaf.
I don't know, like I have an idea here. So that whole part, are we tone deaf? Keep sweeping it under the mat. Thought we could do better than that. It sounds like she quoting her teacher or a parent, because that's how my parent would talk to me, like parental figure, teacher, person. He would like, are you tone deaf? You can do better than that. Like he would pump me up. So it's like she's quoting that.
Yeah. I think that's a good interpretation. I also think that it could be the kind of thing you ask yourself in a relationship. You know, are we not understanding each other? We're just pushing our troubles away. We are not able to communicate. But I thought we could do better than that, because you give a vow at the beginning of a marriage. You know, so maybe that could be part of it too. That sort of a relationship, at least some kind of relationship where yeah, you thought we would be able to do better than that. But I also think it's a reference to humanity or society, as far as how we treat each other and the planet and that kind of thing.
Wasn't she married to Russell Brand at some point?
Yeah, I
Isn't like
think
that
so.
song after divorce or something? I can fact check that later, or you guys write
This,
in comments what you think.
yeah, I think this one is quite a lot newer. I mean, this is 5 years old, and I think they probably split up 10 years ago, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, sounds like ages ago. Feels like
Yeah,
yesterday, but ages ago.
all right. So the next stanza, and here this is obviously very on purpose, I believe, is Skip Marley, Bob Marley's grandson, comes in, um, and he says, it's my desire to break down the walls, to connect, inspire. Hey, you're up in your high place, liars. Time is ticking for the empires. That's obviously sort of like a revolutionary statement, or perhaps even sort of like a messianic one. He comes in white, looking very, very um, beautiful and very much present, and that strong softness that you want from a man, I think. He goes on to say, the truth they feed is feeble, as so many times before, the greed of all the people. They're stumbling and fumbling, and we are we are about to riot, and they woke up the lion. And I think that this lion uh, obviously means what it means, but there's also a Rastafari reference there, I believe. I think that's I don't know for sure, but I think Snoop Dogg had a reggae face some years ago, and he was Snoop Lion for a while. So I don't know, maybe that's sort of like a Rasta,
Well,
maybe more like an African thing.
yeah,
I
but
don't know.
Bob Marley himself used lion a lot in his songs, and
Okay, yeah.
even Katy Perry herself, she had like roar
War,
song.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's like she's
Yeah,
herself is that like so lion is like it's like I'm angry now. Now I will roar.
yeah,
Mm. So
that's
lion
true.
is the king, taking the throne back. Let's say.
Yes, Simba.
Scar.
Yeah.
Scar. I kind of always felt sorry for Scar in
Oh,
in yeah, like
yeah,
I honestly believe the guy was always abused by his older brother. Like
yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like a guy I think Jordan analyzed that a Lion King pretty well. It's a good
But
king and bad king. Yeah.
he's kind of, I don't know if you agree with this, but you have the concept of toxic masculinity, and you have the concept of toxic femininity, and
I heard yesterday toxic truth. Somebody coined that term. I was like, so everything that people kind of cannot take is toxic. So they just like
yeah,
they cannot handle it, so it's toxic. I don't
right,
know. Like there is, uh, I don't
yeah,
I
sure,
don't agree with any of it. Like I just
okay, but
don't agree with toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. There are just like
I agree with it, but I think it's being applied.
to
Um, First of all, it's being applied to young people, and I think for a lot of the part, it's being applied to young males and stuff like that, and that's kind of toxic in itself, I think, because they need guidance and stronger
yeah.
leaders. And but I think the concept itself is interesting, because I saw Jordan Peterson discussing this with a ethics professor in Canada a year ago, and they were talking. yeah, they were talking about the pandemic response in terms of toxic femininity, and I think that the point is that you have toxic masculinity is, as I understand it, this uncontrolled aggression. It's when you don't have your anger under control or your negative emotions under control, so you release them on people through acts of violence and bullying and that kind of thing. And then the way Jordan Peterson explains toxic femininity is the sort of female equivalent, and it's not uncontrolled aggression or violence in the same way, but it's talking is ruining people's reputation and sort of going behind people's back. And as far as Scar goes, what's Simba's dad's name? Do you remember?
Uh, I completely don't remember
But
actually what's
anyway,
his name.
he embodies the opposite, I suppose, of the toxic masculinity, which is the divine masculinity. So he is the king. He has the controlled aggression, and he has the kindness that comes with that kind of confidence in his strength. But then Scar, he doesn't have toxic masculinity. I mean, he has some
Yeah,
toxic masculinity, but he also has toxic femininity in a way, because he's kind of like a he's sort of like
he's a
Game of
trickster.
Thrones. He's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, he's a little bit of a trickster, and he's a little bit like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. You know, he
Who
can't
also
really
was my
face.
favorite character, by
Yeah,
the
he's
way.
amazing. He's incredible, and
But
it's not that he's very intelligent, but he can't really fight people head on in a duel, man to man
Mhm.
kind of thing. So that's interesting, that maybe that there could be sort of like a toxic feminine side to Scar. And then you start wondering where does that come from? You know, wasn't he out? He was always sick, I think. So maybe he wasn't out hunting with the other male lions. So maybe he spent a lot of time around the females, kind of learning their
That's
language, trying to charm them, and then play the power game from sort of like a female point of view or something,
no,
you know?
no. So in lion world,
Yeah.
females hang out with females,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Yeah.
lions, beta lions, or like whatever gamma, they hang out with each other and they turn gay. It's a true fact. You can check it. So
Okay.
like people like
Yeah.
believe that if we will divide men and women, it will be divine feminine. No, it's just like
No.
women
No.
will get masculine, and they
Yeah.
will actually have masculine hierarchies as well, because like
Yeah.
there needs to be like this balance.
Yeah.
I kind of, in a way, I understand Jordan's divide between toxic femininity and toxic masculinity, but
Yeah.
calling it male and female,
Yeah. That's
it's
the
like
problem.
that's my problem, because I
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
But
meet a
that is
lot
but
of conniving
he is
guys.
not he's not saying male or
Yeah.
female. He's saying masculine and feminine,
Ah, okay.
which then it makes more sense, because
Mhm.
we have both. So we have both masculine and feminine
Yeah.
inside of us. So then it makes more sense, you know. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so lions, usually, like in actual pack of lions, females are the ones who are hunters. Females are the ones who gather things,
right. Yeah,
and the beta lions, they just hang out with each other and do nothing, and they have like it's like, if to check lion world, it will be very much disappointing for a lot of guys. Like it's usually one lion who gets everything. It's like that he gets all the
yeah,
females, he gets everything, and the rest of the lions, they just at this like a kind of weak beta camaraderie among them, and they do not
yeah.
get females at all, so they become kind of feminized in a
Yeah.
sense.
So do you think that happened to Scar? Maybe.
Yeah, so he was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
hanging, I don't believe he actually was hanging out with females. Actually, females completely disrespected him. Like from all
Yeah.
I remember, like they were like, like how
Yeah.
can he lead us, like he's a beta male, like they actually, they would never mate with him. There was not even one female who would just like even
But then they
consider
are
Scar.
also cartoon characters, and I think it is a, if I remember correctly, it's a Shakespearean Shakespearean interpretation. I don't even remember which, but in that case, I think it is kind of conceivable to think that he was hanging around in the castle, so to speak, you know. And it goes on and on and on because we're all chained to the rhythm. So one very obvious interpretation, I think, by the meaning of the word rhythm here is algorithm. And if we go to the music video, and I'll just give the timestamps. She gets on a roller coaster at roughly 50 seconds into it. She gets on a roller coaster called Love Me, and she's with Simon. I don't know if that's her partner, but she's with a man, and they have everyone lined up on the roller coaster, male and female in each separate rows, and you have this pink blue symbolism. And I think pink blue is maybe more of it's not just male and female, but I think it's also girl and boy, so maybe it implies a kind of immaturity. I think it does, and I'll come back to that. But so there's this just really funny little detail at, let's see, it's 056 or so, or 055, just as the cart is leaving the station. There's a Love Me sign above them, and they're all screaming. They're screaming because of the roller coaster starting, but there also is that kind of feeling that maybe they are very desperate and they're screaming love me, you know, because they're not actually feeling real love. Anyway, back to the algorithm. So during this roller coaster ride, they come into a tunnel. And by the way, the roller coaster is shaped as a heart, but it's not a complete heart. There's something lacking in the top of the heart, so it's not a complete heart. Maybe that's kind of it's kind of symbol for some kind of broken heart. And at 120, they come into a heart-shaped tunnel, and you can see the Facebook emojis on both sides of the roller coaster ride. And it's the hearts, it's the likes, it's the laugh emoji. And they're kind of just rushing through them as if they are in that loop. They are in that sometimes when you get lost in something, or for instance in the algorithm, you get lost in the YouTube shorts or the TikToks or the tweets or whatever, and then as they come out of the tunnel, the roller coaster carts leave the roller coaster rails and has something, I think maybe sort of a leap of faith, because they're at the top of the heart that isn't connected, and they just fly through the air and they land perfectly, but maybe it symbolizes a sort of leap of faith. And then in the next scene, everyone is walking back and forth, smiling like zombies, chained to the rhythm, to the algorithm. And you see that the wait time on the sign with the hamster on the left side at 133 says 1983, and then no, it says 1984, sorry, and then it changes to 1983. So I wonder if that's her way of saying that we are in a 1984 type situation and we need to dial the clock back, you know.
I think it's a book.
Yeah, it's a book. Yeah. It's George Orwell.
Yeah,
it's one of the
reference.
3. Yeah, so that's the completely surveilled society, and it it has all these concepts like doublethink, which is, I think, cognitive dissonance, and it has newspeak, where they take words, old words, and make new meanings, and they have the memory they have the memory hall where they send history and everything to die. They take out all these things, and you have the movie. I think is it called it's not Existence, is it? I don't know.
I don't
It's the guy
remember the
from.
movie, but the book is great. Like, I absolutely highly recommend to read it a couple
Yeah, but
times.
there's a movie interpretation. There's a newer interpretation of 1984 in which, or I think it's 1984, or maybe it's Fahrenheit. But anyways, they're burning all this art, and old art has become contraband
It's
because it's just so.
Equilibrium. I know that one. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
talking about Equilibrium? Like, there was Sean
yeah.
Penn in
Equilibrium.
there.
Yeah, not existence, but equilibrium. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, and
Yes,
like,
yes.
oh my God, do you remember the scene with the Ninth Symphony? Like,
Yeah, I
it's
think
like,
so, roughly, but yes, yeah. And it's incredible how when you juxtapose um, such a gray bureaucratic world, such a poor world with this beautiful art which just has this aura, this amazing color, this incredible feeling, and it really kind of, yeah, it sells art in a way. It paints arts in a very beautiful way when you position them, when you compare them to the gray of the urban areas or the bureaucracy or whatever.
minimalistic thing.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, okay, so I don't know, maybe I'll just take a couple of things. We can take the next one actually. So at 137, there's a picture of Simon and Rose, which is maybe her partner. I think it might be her partner because they are sitting together in the roller coaster. And it's the Love Me validation station with a heart, um, with oh, what's it called? Like a at symbol, like at Gmail.
Yeah.
And it's
At
similar to Instagram or whatever. And she only gets 7 likes or 7 hearts, and he gets over 9,000. And just a couple of funny things here is that uh, when I Google the meaning of the number 17, which is what Rose gets, it says it's a symbol of self-discipline and responsibility, which is obviously kind of the name of the game in modern society. It's always willpower, it's always all the responsibilities, and it kind of wears on people. But it also says that if this number enters your life, it means you're able to take your life in your own hands. It's time to be independent and to take responsibility over your life.
the fact that he got more likes than her was a commentary on inequality. Just like that was
Yes,
blatantly like
yes,
stated.
but there is also something else, more than just the equality thing, which I do think you're correct about. There is also the meaning of the names Rose and Simon. And Rose can mean a famous type, and Simon means to listen in Hebrew, and everyone loves a listener. So if she's self-absorbed, searching for fame, and he's a good listener, then I think that could also make him
Mm-mm.
much more popular.
I actually think the reason she named him Simon is
Yeah.
because of the game Simon Says. I don't think she checked the Hebrew meaning of
Uh-huh.
Simon.
I think I also read that it's a reference to a Christian television show or something, but yeah,
Oh,
I don't know.
so
Well,
that thing
who
that
knows?
she
It could
did,
be many
Simon
things.
Says, and more likes, it was a commentary on male-dominated society. So she actually criticized that as well in there. It's like
Yeah.
it was not because he's a good listener and that's why everybody loves him. She
I think
actually,
I think he's a good list. I think he's a good listener. Yeah.
I mean, he might be.
Are you on the still frame at 137
Yes.
with the value? Yeah. So you can see that she has pink hair, but she has a very light. She has a almost white, but it's a light blue dress, and he has a pink dress and a blue shirt. He also has lipstick, and he has purple eye shade, and she has like a light blue eye shade. And I just want to skip forward, having that supposed meaning of the number 17 in mind. There's a hamster wheel that she lines up for at 150. 158 or so, and you can see people are like really eager to get on the hamster wheel, and some people fall off it. But then towards the end of the video, after Skip Marley as perhaps the Messiah has come and helped her awake more, at least more, she gets on the hamster wheel, and this is all the way towards the end. She gets on the hamster wheel, and she just kind of stops. She doesn't fall. She just stops. I mean, you see her face at 3:47. You can see that she has a full. So she has. It seems like she's fully feminine. So she's a woman, or like a transformation from a girl to a woman. So it goes back to that independence and responsibility over your own life.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
agree. No,
Yeah, and
that's I agree.
So her eye shade changed from the light blue, the boyish, the sort of like a immature masculine thing, to like a fully feminine, more powerful thing. I think there was also probably movie references here that I don't get, but that's, yeah, anyway.
There are so many Easter eggs and symbolism with that song. It's amazing. Like it could go for hours. Like excellent job,
Yeah.
Katy.
Yeah. So how much more are we gonna go?
No, actually, so bravo. That's excellent. Like excellent analysis. I really like. I think I will actually point out separately to the video analysis that you did. Like I didn't have those before. It's just like really thank you for bringing it in. Would you like to
Yeah.
summarize the song a little bit?
Okay. Well, I'll just go back to the full lyrics, and there is. It seems like she's a young woman, but there's confusion, there's some disenchantment with the way the world works, and she's starting to ask some questions, but she's not really fully awake yet anyways. And she's asking, at least on genius.com, where the lyrics are posted, she's asking, are we crazy? And aren't you lonely up there in Utopia where nothing will ever be enough? So these are questions, whether they are rhetorical or not. And when she sings about putting on her rose-colored glasses, I think that, if I remember correctly, this lines up with her smelling the roses at 1:36 or so, 1:37, 1:36. And her name is Rose. She's smelling the roses, and at the same time, she gets pricked by the thorn on the rose, which I think is a kind of awakening moment for her. And then you see the couple that enters the house behind her. That house is just lifted out. So I think that's probably pretty significant. It's lifted up by a sort of something that almost looks like puppets on a string, but it's houses. And it's like your house is removed. Like the house is supposed to be that safety for you, for your family, and it's supposed to be something that maybe lasts for hundreds of years, and then whoop, it's just ripped up from the ground with two people inside it and attached to quite a sinister looking device in the theme park. And speaking of the theme park, if you go back to 3 seconds in, the name of the park is Oblivia, which is the female version of oblivion, and you can drink yourself into oblivion. You can, I think there's a river in or there's the river Leith or whatever in Greek mythology, where you drink from it and you forget. So and being oblivious means the state of forgetting or not remembering or not being awake or aware. And in the O in Oblivia, there's a hamster. with his eyes pointing in different directions, like it's completely brainwashed or something along those lines. And the hamster also has its own symbolism, which is kind of a funny symbolism, but it's the party animal because it sleeps during the day and is up during the night. And that also goes very well with the lyrics, obviously, party on. And the hamster, the Germanic meaning of the word hamster means to hoard, which is also something we do a lot of as a society. So
Yeah.
then of course there's the hamster wheel, which is sort of like a meaningless thing, especially if it yeah, it's something you do when you're bored and have nothing else to do. And that is where she has her awakening at the end, when she becomes fully a woman, is when she's on the hamster wheel and just stops and probably gets off. She looks in the end, she looks into the camera and she looks scared. She looks awake with her beautiful blue eyes, but she looks kind of scared. Like ignorance is bliss. So in the beginning, when you wake up, it's not a fun experience, just like in the morning.
Yeah, like the bubble is gone.
Yeah,
And now she can see
exactly.
the trouble.
The trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just want to comment on the park again, Oblivia. So you'll see that there's all these weird devices that they look very much like spacecraft stuff, but also they look like defense industry stuff. And you'll see it very clearly. At some point, there's rockets coming off roller coasters and landing where there's people being launched into out of the park. They're just being launched
Yeah.
from the park out of the park. And there's also these candy cotton things that people are buying that are shaped like atomic clouds.
Explosions, yes.
Yes, like these dust clouds or mushroom clouds, I
Mushrooms.
suppose they're called.
So cool.
Yeah, and of course, everyone else besides her and Skip Marley are zombies. There's well, all
That's
the
an
people who
excellent
visit.
video.
Yeah, so everyone is a zombie, but there is something interesting too with the people that work at the park, because they have these old school space travel, like these glass helmets on, and they have these eerie, creepy faces behind them that are even more creepy than the zombie people, who are just smiling from ear to ear and being in full makeup and kind of looking good but looking asleep or whatever they are. But so that's what,
Brainwashed.
yeah, brainwashed. But so these people that work in the park, they have these things on, like, are who are they? Are they protecting themselves from the environment of the park or from the people? Who knows? I don't, but it's just a little thing right
Yeah, they
there.
definitely had hazmat suits on. So, like,
Yeah,
they
right.
were not infected by the same kind of dance music or whatever it is.
And then I think we have to talk just a little bit about the scene that starts at 2:39
Mm-hmm.
no, let's do 2:43. So in this scene, there's almost like at a drive-in cinema kind of thing, or an outdoor screening. Obviously, they're sitting in chairs. They have their rose-colored glasses on. They have those old school 3D glasses with one red, one green, one red, one blue. And she's the only one who's a little bit out of touch, out of place. Everyone else is totally in the groove. I suppose they're wearing VR goggles. I don't know if you've seen that picture of Mark Zuckerberg walking through a conference hall thing where everyone is wearing VR goggles. Kind of reminds me a little bit about that scene
Yeah,
where you
the
are
creepiest thing I ever seen.
very creepy. And then there's a old school television, because it does have this 50s vibe over the whole thing. And it's a scene with a man reading the newspaper and a woman doing the ironing. So back to your points about feminism and equality, I think. But then on the screen, Skip Marley appears like a sort of like a lion and a messianic figure, and she takes off her VR glasses and he comes out of the screen, and she's the only one who gets to have that experience. Everyone is completely in that zone. that other song, not the good song. And they are actually able to connect physically. She touches his hand, and she that touch is the thing that finally makes her freak out even more and ultimately awake, I think.
Yeah.
But then I think the last thing I think I want to say is that the lyrics, because we're all chained to the rhythm, she ends on that. And that would seem like it would be ending on a negative note, but I do think that chained to the rhythm can also be interpreted positively, because there's always a heartbeat, there's always a rhythm. We are all connected, we are all chained to each other in some kind of way. So I think there's ultimately also there's a positive spin on this chain to the rhythm. It's not just absorbed in the algorithm, there is also this, actually we are all connected in some sense. We are all God's children, for instance.
Yeah. That's excellent. Bravo. Thank you so much for bringing the song in. I absolutely adore it. I love the video as well. Like it is, even 6 years later, is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So people, we are sponsored by Free Time. Please get you some. And down there are the links on how you can join Sorting Myself Out community. And please check out the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, join their Discord server, and bye. Live in a comfortable bubble, ignoring the problems and injustices that exist in the world. The lyrics also touch on themes of consumerism and the power of the media to shape people's perceptions and belief. Yep.
Nice.